Live from MMA Fighting Studios, this is Between the Links. And now, your host, Mike Heck.
The iconic voice of Esterlin welcomes you to a brand new edition of BTL. We are so back. Happy Thursday to us all. And ladies and gentlemen, we are 48 hours away, a little more than 48 hours away from the return of the Ultimate Fighting Championship, the kickoff of the UFC on Paramount era. UFC 324 goes down this Saturday, T-Mobile Arena in Las Vegas, Nevada, the main event for the interim UFC Lightweight Championship. Justin Gaethje, the former interim champion, takes on Paddy, the Baddie Pimblett. We have Sean O'Malley versus Song Yadong. Big fight between Rose Namajunas and Natalia Silva. I'm pretty damn excited for UFC 324, of course. If you're a hardcore mixed martial arts fan, there has not really been a break from MMA action, but the UFC has been off for quite some time, and people are pretty fired up about this. I know I am, and I know the man who will be joining us right now, who will be joining me to answer your questions on today's episode of BTL, is excited about this as well. He is Mr. No Gray Area, the Hot Take Kid, the co-host for the Watch Party, which is back this Saturday. More info to come on that. The one and only Jed Meshew from MMAfighting.com.
I was trying to get Otto on camera. I forgot that I had to go get Otto. And so I was running a little behind as I remembered I needed to go get him about 3 minutes before we went air. So I sprinted to my neighbor's place and got him. And here we are. But excited. 324 is here. The Paramount era is here. I don't have to pay $80 in 2 days. That's nice. And theoretically, I will be seeing you very, very soon, Mr. Heck.
Yes. You know what? Let's break the fourth wall here, Jed. By the way, just to update the folks, obviously the UFC start times are a little bit earlier now. Everything starts an hour earlier than usual, which is great.
Couldn't be more excited about that, frankly.
The main card starts at 9 p.m. Eastern. Jed and I are going to be going live on Saturday at 7 p.m. Eastern. All right, not just right before the featured prelim. We're going live for the entire middle prelim slate and for the entire main card. So you get us early and often on Saturday. And Jed and I are introducing a new gimmick to the festivities. And we'll discuss that later on in the program, Jed, because we've learned some things over the past 6 weeks going back and watching old watch parties. And we have a fun, exciting new gimmick that I think you guys will enjoy and will reveal and get after it. Perhaps choose some teams. A little spoiler for you. And yeah, Jed is saying stuff, but I can't hear him.
I forgot I muted myself because I was doing something over here. We love teams. I'm very excited about it. I think everyone will have a lot more fun with it. And we certainly will if nobody else does. I don't really care what you guys think. I'm going to have fun with it. And that's what matters to me.
Yes. And if Jed's not happy, then nobody's happy. And that's really what it comes down to.
I can throw a tantrum with the best of them.
All right, well, let's get into this because not only do we have UFC 324 to talk about, but there's some news and notes that people are asking about already. So let's just get right to this. This is some big news from yesterday, Jed, from Joseph Bosa. Jed is known as Mr. PFL. Can we get his thoughts on Donn Davis stepping down as, well, he stepped down as chairman of PFL. And the follow-up question is, PFL in a mess? Jed, our good pal, Donn Davis, is no longer part of PFL. Not just in the chairman role. I was told he's gone. Like he is completely gone from the promotion in all capacities. And some people were like, good, this needed to happen. But Donn is obviously he's a personality to say the least. He's done a couple of town halls here at MMAfighting.com, which people brought up quite a bit over the last 24 hours or so. But Jed, your guy, Donn Davis, PFL, changing some things up. What was your reaction to this?
Look, it was a power struggle between me and Donn. And as we can see, much like with the Bills, a fine franchise where Billy Beane and Sean McDermott clearly had a power struggle. We at PFL me and Don had a bit of an issue, and I was victorious, as we all could have imagined. I look forward to advancing from Minister of Fun to just being in charge of everything, and I think we'll do really well. I don't know, man. It was weird because, like, this is objectively, it's not bad, like, on the face, but with everything that's going on, it seems like PFL is in very dire straits right now, which is not good. That's not something we want. I mean, you and I have been very clear about this, Mike. When we are negative towards the PFL, it is always with the interest of, we want you to be better. And I think they took some steps last year. They advanced the ball, but it is such an uphill struggle for them that they are a little bit Sisyphean. And yeah, okay, you're advancing the ball, but eventually that ball is going to roll back downhill and the next person will have to start it all over again. And it is looking, they're not dead yet. And maybe this is a good advancement for them, but that happening, Jake Paul no longer even pretending to be associated with them. These are things that don't seem good holistically. And I am genuinely very concerned about the long-term future, not even the long-term, the short-term future of the PFL. Because if this is about to be a fire sale, man, there's one game in town in a way that has never been the case in this sport. I've been a fan of this sport for like 25 years, something like that. I guess not quite 25 years, over 20 years. And never has there been less options for fighters than right now. And if PFL keeps this up and goes under, the circle shrinks even smaller. So tough scenes yesterday, even though, like, objectively it's, Donn Davis isn't doing that much for the organization in like sustainability metrics, but it all feels like it's adding up to something bad.
Well, I mean, this announcement came as part of a big capital raise for PFL, which a release was put out yesterday. A new board of directors, so to speak. Looks like John Martin will be the guy running with the football, so to speak, for the foreseeable future. So he will be sort of the talking head, promoter face. And I mean, just look at what's happened over the past few weeks. Peter Murray, I mean, had a different role before John Martin came along. Now he's gone altogether. Ray Sefo, gone altogether. Donn Davis, gone altogether. And looks like John and this new board of directors are going to take PFL in this different direction. And obviously there's been a ton of hiccups along the way between, the season formats and then, the tournament structure, trying to figure out who they are, trying to have an identity, I guess. There's just so many weird things along the way, and everything they sort of position themselves to be in, everything's kind of backfired. Like the Bellator thing, even though they didn't spend millions of dollars acquiring Bellator, they did have to spend that money to make some of the contracts right. They did let some fighters go, but their goal was like, we want to keep everybody on the payroll, so to speak. We want to keep everybody on the roster. So there's been a lot of promotional changes. And then obviously the Francis Ngannou deal, it doesn't appear like this is, a big reason as to why this is happening. But at the same time, that deal has not gone as swimmingly as they would have hoped and as fans would have hoped. And yeah, this is, boys, 2026 is everything for PFL. Is it not, Jed? It just seems like the way they are positioning themselves, this new capital they've raised, this new direction they're trying to go. I know they're trying to position themselves to have like long-term growth over time, just continuing to grow and grow and grow. But I don't think they have time. I don't think time is their friend right now. So I think they just have to go all in this year and just put their best foot forward at this point. And I don't know how they do that, Jed. Like, what can they do to like end this year when we're like, all right, PFL has really put themselves in a position to be, I guess, the number 2 promotion. They're back. We're feeling better about things. It seems like it's going to take an awful lot.
I know if I had the answer to that, I'd be making a lot more money than I'm making right now. And that's sort of what I mean is, like, on its face, Donn Davis and Ray Sefo and et cetera leaving are not necessarily negative things. It is a transition of power. And perhaps John Martin has a clearer vision and he can effectuate that vision, and this will be good. Like that is always a thing that can happen. But in general, transitions don't occur when things are going great, right? Like you don't change horse midstream unless that stream is really kicking that horse's ass. And it feels like that's what's happened. And I hope tremendously for the success of PFL. We throw out ideas constantly about how they can better themselves. And perhaps John Martin is going to, listen and be like, let's finally have a minister of fun or whatever. Or he has a totally different idea and it works. Like, these are things that can be done or are at least possible. I don't know if can be done is actually realistic given the market situation, but it is, it is a tumultuous time. I think going all in is just means they'll fold next year. So they shouldn't go all in because, like, it's that if we're carrying on the poker analogy, it's you're pot committed to going all in, but you still have the losing hand. Is like, well, you're still gonna bust here if you do it. They don't have great cards right now. And they've got to figure out a way to get it going better. I think last year really felt transitional. They were moving from, the series tournament season format to something less. And now this year is the first year of kind of their new efforts forward. And my advice to them is broadly be fun. That's the most important thing. Try and stand out from your competitor insofar as the UFC, like, is a flea truly a competitor to the dog that it's on? No, but like, you got to stand out if you're going to be in this marketplace. And mostly to everybody still working at the PFL, put your best foot forward every time. It's the best you can do right now is every card, make it the best card you possibly can until you can get some sort of momentum and some sort of, bedrock of operations, because you feel listless right now. And that's a tough place to be in a very competitive marketplace.
We'll see. They're back, I believe, February 7th, I believe, is their return with the Usman Nurmagomedov Alfie Davis fight and some other stuff going on as well. So let's see if they can create some stars. I did talk to Luke Traynor, who is getting ready to compete on that card against Rob Wilkinson. And I think they have something with this guy. He's got some personality. He's got some pizzazz. And he's a damn good fighter too. So hopefully we could position him some new stars. We could do some stuff, but yeah, I don't know, man. It's going to be an interesting year for the PFL.
It is just as a very, and PFL does not want to hear this or acknowledge this, and I understand. And in their position, they should not. The facts on the ground, the truth of this situation, the UFC is a monopoly and you cannot fight monopolies. So they are going to go under or have to do a full structural rechange, right? Like, to be a regional promotion that, is PFL MENA and just does that and, becomes something more akin to a KSW or Cage Warriors, because you cannot fight the UFC. And definitionally, that's what they are, like, their organization is attempting to do. And so I want them to keep that noble battle up because it matters for the health of the sport, but it is a losing battle. They cannot win it. So they can stay alive as long as they can get capital investment. At some point that will run up and things get different. Talk to one about that,
Yeah. I mean, they are going to some different places. They'll be in Pittsburgh. They're going to Boston in April, which I think is good. I don't know if that's good. I'm told it's going to be Boston, but normally when events happen under like a smaller scale, when they say they're in Boston, they're usually like in Amherst, where UMass like plays basketball. So I don't know what they're going to do. Hopefully they're actually in Boston, even if it's a smaller venue, because they're not, obviously going to TD Garden would be like a horrendous idea, but go to like MGM or something, go to the casino. Like, either in Springfield or the one in Everett. Like, do some fun stuff, be in different spots, like look damn good on TV, and just have some fun with some stuff. You know, it doesn't have to be capacity crowds. You don't have to compare yourselves to the UFC. You could do like 700 people events with hardcore MMA fans. That's okay too. That is okay. Speaking of outside of the UFC, Lazy Bet, Jed and Mike tonight, a tough enough 151 from the Pearl in Las Vegas. Smilla Sundell, the youngest Muay Thai champ in the history of one, makes her pro MMA debut. Is women's MMA about to experience a renaissance? Jed, do you care to wonder who she is fighting? She is fighting Miranda Barber, who is 2-6 as an MMA fighter. Her last MMA win happened in November of 2024. She got a submission win for Anthony Pettis FC. But not only that, she has competed in many boxing matches, many bare knuckle matches, losing almost all of those, getting a couple of wins here and there. But yeah, this is a setup fight for sure. And it's a good place to be, with probably the UFC brass maybe being in attendance. Kai Kamaka is fighting Michelle Lima on this card as well. Kai Kamaka is trying to make a move, trying to get himself back into the UFC. So any thoughts on Smilla Sundell making her pro MMA debut against a fighter she should absolutely wreck?
Straight up did not know this person existed until this comment. I won't pretend like I did. Taking a brief look at her resume. Hey, look, she's 21 and is competent at one of the martial arts that is involved when you mix them. Not even competent, exceptional maybe. I can't really say she's exceptional. She's obviously at least pretty good, if not very good, at one of the key aspects of MMA, and we will take that. She is a women's bantamweight who can fight to some degree. That is super helpful because there are like 6 of those in the world. But I don't know enough to have any confidence. What I can say is if she is talented and young, that goes an incredibly far way in this sport in general, and certainly in the women's bantamweight division, because it doesn't take that much to learn how, she could spend her whole life and not be able to stop Kayla Harrison taking her down. But how long is Kayla Harrison going to be around? Like the rest of this is fine. So it is good that more people are rolling in. Like, I do believe that women's MMA is in a real nadir right now, and is set to rebound to some extent. I strongly doubt it will be to the heights of Ronda Rousey, right? But it is so low. There's basically nowhere to go but up or to kill all the divisions. And I don't think the UFC has any interest in doing that. I have wondered why women's MMA is in such a bad place right now. And I don't have a lot of good answers, frankly, but it just can't be much worse than it is. And so if we can finally start getting some young talent in, that will help. And, this is one person, but there are a couple of other names coming in. But like right now, the best women's bantamweight prospect is Bia Mosquito, who's 36. So give me a 21-year-old who can kind of fight, and I'm in, because she might just be the only one in 6 years.
Yeah, women's bantamweight needs people badly, and nice to see a star. Like if I'm surprised Natty Ice is not more popular right now. I'm surprised the UFC hasn't pushed her more, getting her out there in like a promotional capacity. Like I know she speaks a little bit of English, not like spectacularly, but I think it's something she's working on. And I know she did her scrum yesterday in mostly English. I know in like some of the interviews she does, she needs translator and stuff of that nature too. So she just seems like she kind of has it. She's got the look, she's got the personality. She's, people just kind of feed off of her energy. And I think that's a good thing. She goes out there, just thumps up Rose Namajunas and does it in impressive fashion on Saturday. Like, I think the UFC really needs to put her out there. And then obviously Bia Mesquita is another one. And
Bia Mesquita is not a real prospect. She's 34.
Yeah. So she's only got, we don't know how much time she has.
Yeah.
So we'll see. So it's definitely in a weird spot.
Yeah. I mean, I think the operative theory was that NIL would actually increase women's MMA, because women's wrestling is a massively growing sport here in America, and that tends to be a pipeline for women's athletics, right? For athletics in general, you're a wrestler, you can go to MMA, but actually NIL has seemingly dried up the wrestling to MMA pipeline in a way that I would not have foreseen, certainly for men, and we just haven't seen it take that effect for women yet. But Bellamere, we assume will eventually move to MMA, but maybe not, because she makes a really good amount of money at NIL, and now it's gonna be like, do you want to take a major pay cut to go fight for LFA until maybe you go to the UFC and you're still making 20 and 20? I don't know where the talent is going to come from, because the UFC has not invested in that sort of area that much, and they have deeply, to your point, not invested in the star building of women's MMA at all. Natalia Silva should be somebody that you're trying to get behind in a major way, just purely from a numbers standpoint. Everyone holding belts in the women's weight classes is old as dirt. Zhang Wei Li and Valentina Shevchenko are all-time greats. Eventually, they will retire or lose because they're old, and they have not done anything to build prospects to put juice behind upcoming stars. And in the men's divisions, they haven't really done that either, but there's just so much more talent that it's still working out. But last year, this is off the top of my head, so I could be wrong. I think there were only 4 or 5 women's fights on the Contender Series in general, and I think 4 women got signed from 2 fights. He just signed all of them because the fights were good, but they are not. There's not an influx of talent, and broadly speaking, there's not talent out there. So it's a real tough place for women's MMA right now. It can only go up, I would think.
Yeah. Let's find. We'll see how it goes down. Elizabeth saying that Coachman is gone too. I'm trying to figure out if that's actually true or not.
I mean, that's fine.
Yeah. Let's see. We mentioned the Jake Paul thing. Amanda Serrano is also part of that. No longer with PFL stuff. So, if anybody cared about that, so that's part of the conversation as well.
That makes sense, but sure.
Yes. Jed, Josh Emmett versus Kevin Vallejos. I forget how, it's all different pronunciations. It's the main event for March 14th from the world's most famous Meta Apex. Thoughts on that fight?
Yeah, this fight makes a ton of sense. That's just sort of where Josh Emmett is in his career now, is, hey, try and turn back up and comers because you're never fighting for the belt again. And featherweight doesn't really even have legends fights. Not that Josh Emmett is a legend, but Anthony Smith was called a legend. So Josh Emmett can be a legend. Why not? This is just it. Here, Kevin Vallejos is the new young hotness. He's 23, and will bet you all the money that at one point he'll fight for a belt, if not outright win one. And this is, hey, things are a little taken up at featherweight. We're not trying to shoot you to the top, but we want to progress you up and just see. Josh Emmett still got some juice in him. Maybe this is a little too soon for him. I doubt it. I assume Kevin Vallejos is going to win. But this is just sort of classic prospect building matchmaking. He wins this, he's in the top 10, or I think Emmett's in the top 10. Maybe he's just outside. But, he wins this, he's in the top 10. His next fight is against, Arnold Allen, if Arnold Allen loses, or, somebody like that. So this classic prospect building, great fight. Looking forward to it.
Yeah, it's the right fight. It's the right fight right now. I don't see this is how you need to book him right now. You beat Giga, then you go to Josh Emmett, and then kind of go from there. I think the Josh Emmett win puts him on some more radars higher up in the division, as opposed to beating Giga and then, you offer him to the Yair Rodriguez's of the world. They're going to be like, nah, man, a little too soon for that. But he goes out there and has a great performance over Josh Emmett. Some doors may open here. So Trippy Space Monkey asks, did the UFC get lucky with the Arman Tsarukyan headbutt? Are they playing into it? So obviously Arman is wanting to be a part of this. Most of the fan base agrees that Arman may be the best lightweight in the world and certainly deserves to be a part of this interim title fight. The UFC went a different direction. We kind of understand why they did that. But kind of the reasoning is, yeah, Arman headbutted Dan Hooker at the weigh-ins. Can we trust him in big spots kind of thing? And the UFC's taking that stance and digging their heels in. And Arman Tsarukyan's just kind of going out there and grappling people and tech falling Lance Palmer at RAF. And he's jumping on with like every streamer known to man and just keeping his name out there. And it feels like Arman is getting more popular by the day. And he's not even booked for a fight right now. So do you feel like the UFC got lucky with this Arman Tsarukyan headbutt situation in order to perhaps book the fights that they want, keep Arman out of the conversation? Like, how do you feel the UFC is viewing the headbutt, and did they get lucky with it?
They don't care about it at all. This is just a happy excuse. Had he not headbutted him, the answer, Dana would have just been like, yeah, you know, he's still got to make up for previous things, or this isn't the turner. He would have just said some other lie. This is just a very explicable thing. Like, oh yeah, sure, that's why. He gave us a reason, but we don't need a reason because they don't. Dana could come out and just say outright, I don't give a shit. And honestly, I'm kind of expecting him to do that very soon, because he has, you know, when he came out for 325 and was like, if you don't like it, don't watch it. Like, okay, man, that's literally negative promotion. He doesn't care, and he doesn't have to. When you hold all the cards, you do not have to care. He could look dead into a camera and say, you will eat the slop I feed you, piggies, or you won't have any slop at all because I own this shit. Half of the MMA fan base would go to a dark room and spend 15 minutes alone in happiness. And the other half would be like, I mean, he's right. Am I just not going to watch the sport? So he doesn't need an excuse, but Arman gave one so they could just say it. And this is just where we are. And that's okay. You know, the sport we got a great event coming up this weekend, so everything isn't like terrible, but they don't give a shit that he headbutted that dude. Like, if you think so, you just haven't been here long enough, or you're the most naive person alive. I remember when Dana White said John Jones will never headline an event again. And then he headlined like 10 more pay-per-views because he's John Jones. They don't care about these things. As far as Arman, he's doing, honestly, like the best thing you can do. He can't fight the superpower. He is just at the whims of Dana White and the brass. And so he is keeping his name out. He is staying active, doing things that people are noticing. Also, this is entirely speculation. I think that he has paid some of the aggregators. And I hope that he has, because it's actually incredibly smart, because that dude, I know he's like out more in general, but that dude was like never on my timeline for shit ever, because it's Arman Tsarukyan. He's not like the most interesting person. And now the aggregators are like, Arman's hidden a bag. Look at Arman eating this food. Arman went to the bathroom today. Like, I genuinely think he or his management struck a deal with some of the aggregators to just do an Arman post every day so he feels ever present, which is legitimately super smart. Like, that's incredibly smart to stay relevant, because he's got more heat on him than he's ever had. He's been one of the very best lightweights in the world for several years now, and nobody really cared about it. And now he's got some popularity, some juice. So keep doing what you're doing, man. Do RAF. If UFC BJJ, if they'll let you do that, do that. But like this, he is playing his cards as best he can. And I have now come to the idea that he is likely to fight for the belt this year, which I was super not confident about earlier, because I do think Ilya will fight once, and then Ilya ain't never going to fight that dude. He ain't never going to fight that dude. And so will he fight? But I think by the end of the year, maybe it's an interim belt, maybe it's the real one, but he has carried his career forward very, very well in the last like 5 months.
100% agree. A lot of people are discussing some of the media scrums yesterday, most notably Justin Gaethje. Justin Gaethje had a lot to say. I thought he had this incredibly cold line about shaking Paddy's brain into his skull. I love that. But that's not the big talking point here. The big talking point is Justin Gaethje saying this, quote, to have 14 bonuses and not equal up to $1 million is not right. It's not right. It should be a lot more than that. And I should have had opportunities to do smarter things with my money, but I don't. And I haven't. I heard Daniel Cormier saying everybody is going to get paid more on this card. I'm not getting $1 more than I would have if this deal did not happen. What was your response to those comments from Justin Gaethje? Because it seems like of all the things from Media Day that have made the rounds, this in particular made the rounds more than anything else.
I am not in the least bit surprised. My first reaction, and the most true one, is sounds like you have dog shit management and you should get some new management. My second is like, yeah, Daniel Cormier probably just said stuff and that wasn't true at all. But like, yeah, man, I'm not here. I can spend hours telling you why we should care about fighter pay. That's not what this conversation needs to be about today. This is the least surprising thing in the world, because why would you think the UFC is going to pay them more? They don't have to. And if the fighters are not going to have, fighters have no leverage. The leverage has gone down and down as the years have gone on. And if the fighters have clearly shown no real agency, no interest in getting leverage, they are content to take what is handed to them and maybe bitch a bit, like sometimes or whatever. I'm not even saying Justin was bitching, because he was more just stating a fact, right? He wasn't like, this is dog shit or whatever. He was just been like, yeah, I'm not getting any more money. People have said that that's not true, at least for me. But they don't, dude. When the fighters had to do nothing, when a class action suit was brought against the UFC and they didn't have to be involved, a bunch of them were like, came out to cape for the UFC and were like, I don't want this free money. I don't. This boot tastes delicious and I don't need 50 grand or whatever. So why would the UFC, like, somebody tell me, explain to me in all earnestness, why Dana White and Hunter Campbell and the TKO people would get in a conference room and be like, here, we're going to Paramount. We're getting $1.1 billion a year. How much money should we give the fighters? Because one dude is going to look like, why should we give them anything? They won't make us. No, we'll give them the same thing they're currently getting. Only now we don't give out pay-per-view points. More money for us, guys. You get what you can earn, like you get what you can demand in this life, and fighters have not demanded more than what they get. It's just what it is.
Yep. It's a play we've been making for a long time. And who knows? Justin goes out and beats Paddy and then gets a fight with Ilia Topuria or whatever. Yeah, he's going to make some more money. Like, he's just going to. So that's just how it works. I mean, managers tell me all the time, because obviously they're not overly happy with fighter pay, but they know there's some things they could do about it, and they could try to be tough and do what they want. But at the same time, like they all say, like, getting to the belt is when you really start making money in the sport. And that's why it's so important to continuously defend your belt. That's when the pay continues to go up and up and up. So we'll see what happens with Justin. Yeah, but I think that was a pretty polarizing thing that he said during the media day, and that's why it made the rounds the way that it did. So.
It shouldn't even be polarizing. It is simply a statement of fact. Hey, man. Yep. I'm not getting any. He didn't say I at least I don't remember. Maybe I'm wrong, but he wasn't like, I'd like to be making more or I deserve to be making more. I believe his statement was, I'm not getting a one more cent than what I was getting before this new deal. I heard people say we were getting more. I'm not. My deal's the exact same.
He also said, I'm happy to achieve what I've achieved. The best thing I did was probably invest in a commercial property. I purchased a house in Arizona that's like a mile away from my parents. My sister's renting that for me now. Really just being able to help my family, help my parents, help my brothers and sisters, give them Christmas gifts that I would have never been able to give them, take them on vacations that I never would have been able to. That's the smartest thing I did, because you can never get that time back with your family. It's huge for me. So Justin invested his money wisely. So there you go. Scott's asking, Jed, have you decided on if the climb will be 2 or 3 steps this week?
I have not. I just don't know yet.
You don't know. So what is for sure a climb bet?
We've really committed to the Rose Natty Ice over 2.5. That feels very comfortable to me. Rose has only gone to decision since moving up. Natty mostly goes to decisions. That fight just seems like it's going 50 minutes. I'm considering the one that's on. It's going to be 2 because it's going to be Rose, and I feel really good about Waldo Cortez Acosta, and so I'm going to back him. The question is a Teba Gautier by knockout, and I think that is likely to happen. But that feels the one where I might trip up if we're gonna do it, just because I don't know, can he keep blowing people up? Probably, but I don't. I just he's still so young to be banking on him in that way at a -500 point.
I have to figure out what I'm betting on this week. I haven't even looked at the line. It's been so long.
A lot of underdogs that are kind of live.
Yeah. I mean, I think I kind of have to bet on Derek Lewis, but for multiple reasons. One, it's a gimmick, and 2, either way, if Waldo wins, fantasy stock goes up, and if he loses, Waldo's going to fight more and more, so he'll probably fight 2 or 3 more times, and then, either way, I win. I'm happy and I win, and Derek Lewis might even get a freaking title fight if he goes out and knocks out Waldo Cortez Acosta. So
it's entirely in play. Interim title fight, probably not a real one. The only bet I have put in is Rose, because I got her at +350, and I thought that number was coming down. +350 is a very, very big price for Rose in a fight that I think she absolutely can win. So,
yeah, and it's a title eliminator, so the stakes have risen quite a bit. I'm actually be speaking to Rose in about 50 minutes from right now, which is why we went early. So that's why I wanted to start a little early, break down the fourth wall, let you guys know what is going on there. What else we got? A lot of people chiming in on, are you going to bring back the old format for Between the Links? I really like the fake game show. Yes.
What was fake about it?
It was real.
What do you mean
Damn
fake
it.
game show?
Hey, listen, there was a legit winner that I did not decide every single week. It was great. We will go back to that. Once we get somebody in to fill the spot left behind by E. Casey Leiden, we will go back to the old format. It's hard to produce and do that show and host. It's very difficult to do. So hopefully soon something will happen. And then once it does, we'll go back to the old format. But I think people are kind of digging this format as well. So you guys always want to ask questions. You guys always want to be a part of this, and we love that. So Umar -2,000. Jed, what are we thinking here?
Really
-2,000. That's so crazy.
It's a really big price.
Is there a part of you that is just I mean, I know
No,
most of us
win.
Yeah, but still, is there a part of you that's
Also, where's he -2,000? I'm looking right now. I'm seeing -1,500. That's functionally similar, but I was bummed out because I wanted to climb with Umar, and then he's not remotely viable. He's going to win this fight. He's going to win this fight by a lot. I think he might even finish Figgy, though that's a hard thing to do. But it is still a little surprising, that it's that, especially given where they're at. Figgy not looked great lately, but Umar arguably had a really one of the less good 2025s. He lost the first time, and then he didn't look gangbusters against Mario Batista. So for him to come off those 2 performances and still be this big a favorite, the belief is obviously that Figgy's washed, and I agree with that belief, but it's still a huge number.
It's huge. I'm looking at it.
This is one of those where this line is Vegas saying, "Don't bet this fucker. Just don't bet it. If you're going to bet it, give us money, because you're just going to put the money on Figgy, but don't bet it. We don't want your action unless you're handing us free dollars."
There are some books where you can get Davis and Figueiredo at +950. I'm seeing Umar as high as -1667 right now. I don't think we're going to get to -2,000. I think that's insane. Although, I mean, if we get to minus 2,000, I think I have to like take a shot, even though I'm lighting money on fire probably. But like, it just feels like that's just way too ridiculous to not throw a $5 on it.
That is how Vegas. You ever been to Vegas? Those buildings aren't small, and that's how those buildings get so big and fancy. That exact thought process, because this line is, please give us free money. Otherwise, leave us alone.
Some people are saying, you know what? Not out of the realm of possibility. Mario Batista dropped Umar. Perhaps Figgy could too.
Did Mario Batista win that fight?
He did not win that fight.
Okay. Just wanted to clarify.
Elizabeth, photos have emerged from within the new Meta Apex, complete with enhanced seating. A pricing chart has also been released with tickets beginning at $250. So the fight warehouse just become tolerable. So, yes, I got the, at least the meat part of the email that everybody got. Ticket prices are as follows. This is an email sent to Fighter and Teams. P3, $400, upper riser rows A and B. P4, $350, upper riser rows C and D. P5, $300, upper riser, upper middle row. P6, $250, upper riser, upper row. So I think this is like the, hey, if you're a fighter on this card and you want your family and friends to come, like this is the prices you're going to get. From what I understand, the general public tickets aren't getting released for any of the Apex events outside of the Zuffa boxing cards until tomorrow to the general public. So I think we'll get a better sense of like what the ticket prices are going to cost for the general public. So I don't know how to really compare and contrast these prices compared to what the general public are going to get. But looks like, Jed, we're going to have 700-800 seats now in the Apex, which gives it a little more life.
That was great.
Good. More, yeah, it's 100%.
This is literally all we've ever asked about the Apex, is that it was an empty gymnasium, put some people in it. Venues don't have to be enormous. Like, in fact, intimate venues can be kind of fun and they can feel loud because they are smaller venues, and you put 800 people in a condensed space that can feel big. And so, when Joe Martinez says, Vegas, are you ready? It's not three dudes being like, kill him. It'll be almost 1,000 people making noise in a small area. The Apex is, it's still not going to be the same as a big arena, big event, but this is objectively good. The only negative I'll say is not even a real negative. This is like, if I'm nitpicking, it is, and we don't know because this is the price tier for fighters, right? And their family. You would assume that will be lower than the general admission tickets. And I'll just, maybe these numbers will change as they sort of figure out what the market tells them about what people want to do. But like, it would be a lot cooler if it was not expensive to go to. And so every event was a sellout, because people just in Vegas would be like, oh, I'll drop, $100 to go get some seats to this. Like every fight would be sold out with actual fans or people being interested in the sport. And this feels, again, I think Vegas, the Apex should be the bait to get fans in, to draw new bodies in, new things. And instead, this is just another marketing tool. Like this is another revenue creation for them. And I'm sure they will still have plenty of people at everything, but like, it would be cooler to be able to be a UFC fan and attend an event and it not cost $300, because that's it. Like if you were buying tickets, you're buying tickets to any UFC event, your baseline starting place is going to be $300 for you and someone to go. And then, parking, food, stuff, like it's expensive. And I know that this is not a UFC specific problem. This is basically the price point for all sporting events across the board, but it sucks. It'd be a lot cooler if, the average person could roll up to an Apex event.
Yeah. And I honestly, $100 is probably like the max They should set up like bleachers behind the 700 seats and just
do
charge like
SRO.
$75. Yeah.
Do standing room only for spots. Like that would be.
Yeah.
But that's not, again, this is not a UFC problem. This is any sporting event. You can't
sure.
There aren't cheap tickets. I paid $50 to go to the minorest of league hockey games, like there ain't no cheap tickets to anything, which, sucks, but that just is what it is.
Mike, do you know Matt Damon and Ben Affleck? I know of them. I have not watched The Rip yet. Have you watched The Rip yet?
No, I might do it today. I got a whole lot of shit to catch up on.
Yeah,
I'm way behind on my Oscar runs and my WGA voting, which I have to get in very soon. So,
the one thing about Paramount Plus and getting that back is I've gotten a chance to watch some of the programming. I just got through the third season of Tulsa King. Have you watched Tulsa King yet?
No. I think that I'm not going to.
Oh, you have to watch it.
No, I'm in on Landman. I haven't seen the new season. I watched the first season, and I'm in on Mayor of Kingstown. I just think I can't have that many Taylor Sheridan products in my life. So I'm going to draw the line.
I'm telling you, man.
Also, looking at Sylvester Stallone's face makes me uncomfortable with all the plastic surgery he's had. So I'm going to skip Tulsa King.
I'm telling you, man, especially as the minister of fun of PFL, like literally once a week, there should be a board meeting where everybody in the PFL brass watches one episode of Tulsa King, because you will understand the difference of what you need to do to separate yourself from the UFC. This is a whole different kind of a program. It's so bad that it's great. And I think you would really like it. It's utterly ridiculous.
I believe that I would enjoy it.
You would absolutely
It
love
is incredibly low on my priority list, so far so that I will not almost certainly won't watch it in the next 5 years.
It's terrific. Thank you, Chase. Conor literally took a transatlantic flight to throw a dolly at a bus full of people, and he was rewarded with the biggest MMA payday of his career, but Arman can't lightly headbutt a guy. LOL.
Correct. I mean, so we're clear. What Arman did was super shitty. Let's not downplay that Arman
He's done some dumb things.
The headbutt was unequivocally super shitty.
The fan thing was ridiculous.
Not be like, all he did was lightly headbutt him. Like, yeah, that's bad. that's bad. You know what that is? That's called battery. It's a crime. But like, yeah, no, this isn't. They don't care. If Arman was super popular and that was the best fight for business, Arman would be fighting. If they just didn't have other options, if lightweight was in a doldrum right now where there weren't other persons, Arman would be fighting. They don't. That fight's not happening because they wanted Justin Gaethje and Paddy Pimblett to fight, and they want the winner of that to fight Ilia Topuria. That's why all these things are happening. Arman is a bystander.
Yeah, and look, Arman, as popular as he is getting, is nowhere. He's not even on the same map. He's not even in the same atlas. He's not even in the same globe as Conor McGregor. Conor McGregor is the biggest star in the history of the sport. He transcended the sport, which is almost impossible to do right now. You
go check out like Red Corner MMA on Twitter, and Arman might be the biggest star in the history of the sport right now because they are reposting every time that dude goes to the potty. Like, it is wild.
It is absolutely wild, for sure. But I don't know, man. Can we talk about the Conor situation and all the Dana White stuff? Because if you're Michael Chandler, I don't know how you're feeling about this. Then there's all the Jorge Masvidal stuff, which Dana shut down, and there are pundits out there. I know Ariel has talked about this that believe that, hey, perhaps the winner of the interim title fight between Justin Gaethje and Paddy Pimblett, maybe they get the Conor McGregor fight at the White House. So like, your hands are all over your face right now.
Oh God!
If you're Arman Tsarukyan right now and you're hearing people mention that this is a possibility, that this could happen, and by golly, it could. Just look at what we've seen so far this year. Are you concerned? I mean, you have to be a little bit, right?
I mean, no, because like, what's the point of worrying about a thing you have no control over? I don't think that. I wrote an opinion about like who Conor should fight at the White House, assuming he fights, which is a really big if. I understand that. And the first one I said was the winner of Gaethje Pimblett. Would that be meritocratic? Not in the slightest. It would in fact be like I think the worst title fight ever given. It's hard to imagine one way worse than that. And I was on Sub Radio and talking about this past weekend, and I love Aaron Bronstead. Aaron Bronstead was like, they would never do that. That's so bad to give somebody like that. I was like, buddy, I don't know if you know this. Stipe Miocic hadn't won a fight in like 5 years, and they gave him a title fight, and that's Stipe. This is Conor. And he was like, honestly, you're not wrong. I was like, yeah. So Conor, I don't think it will happen, but it's not 0%. And look, if it does, Arman has no agency in this. He is completely stuck waiting for his turn, and he's doing the best he can. So he shouldn't worry about it. And he shouldn't worry about it in general, because I do think it's very, very low percentage. Not 0, but very low percentage that Conor is fighting for an interim or undisputed title. The BMF title, I think that is incredibly in play, and frankly, what I think should happen. But I think it is pretty unlikely, if not impossible, that he fights Pimblett.
I mean, if you're Gaethje and you win, that's you should shout that from the damn rooftops, honestly.
Yeah, and that's, I don't know if Gaethje would. He might, just because, or he would take it, but I don't know if he would call for it. He does seem to have like a little more focus, but it makes too much sense to me with how like 155's got a lot happening right now, and a lot of this is contingent on Ilya. Assuming Ilya comes back, he says he's coming back in the spring. I remain wildly skeptical that the spring is the time he will come back. But if he comes back, he unifies the titles, because that's makes sense, even if maybe it's not the best fight or whatever. And then you've got, like, I know Arman has asked for a BMF belt, but nobody wants to, like, nobody cares about that at all. He doesn't feel like a BMF, and that, like, BMF is really a vibes based thing anyway. So, like, why wouldn't you just do Conor either versus Max again or versus Charles? That make all the sense in the world. And Arman is still just the last dog at the bowl, waiting for his turn to maybe fight Ilya, if Ilya deigns to face him, which again, I don't think he will.
Chandler is the perfect fight. Like it's just
fine.
Perfect. It's just perfect. Two guys who are like, Chandler's like so far out of the lightweight title picture that even if he beats Conor, like, it's good for him. Like, he'll obviously be thrilled, and he'll get a nice chunk of money for fighting Conor McGregor and beating him. But yeah, you get a title fight after off of beating Conor McGregor.
I think Chandler's a fine fight. I actually do agree with Dana that is an old fight, and it's not a fight that, even at the time, it was a fight that made sense, but it wasn't like we must see this fight. It's like, it kind of makes sense. And to an extent, it's still fine here, but like, I think Chandler is among the least big options that they could do. And the current driving force to everything is make the biggest fight you possibly can at all points in time from a casual appealing standpoint. And I don't think Chandler's that. So I think it is. I'm with Dan. I'm totally fine moving on from the Chandler fight. I'm also would be fine if he walks it back and says, screw it, we'll do it. There's no wrong way to eat the Conor Reese's. If he comes back, it's a win. Doesn't really matter who he fights.
That's true. Max would be interesting. Charles would be interesting. Gaethje would be interesting. Gaethje Conor would be so sick. I know you've talked about that fight for a long time. I'm
less interested in it than I've ever been, but yes, there was very much a time in my life when that was the number one most wanted fight of all time. And I think it's passed, but Conor fans could still absolutely sell themselves on Justin Gaethje gets hit a lot, and Conor just needs one very early. I think that fight would go. The problem is, how delusional is Conor? And I think the answer is extremely delusional. Chandler's the only one that he might win. I don't think he would, but it's the only one he might. Of any other name thrown out other than maybe Nate Diaz, who is not under UFC contract, he's not beating any other human on roster functionally that is in a position to fight him. So for the UFC, it's how can we make a star off the back of Conor McGregor? And you have to hope Conor's delusional enough to think he can win a fight with them. And maybe he just is, but like, I don't know. It seems hard to be like, I will beat Max Holloway. Like, no, you won't. You super won't.
How would you line McGregor Masvidal?
That is actually one that he could talk himself into, like a rational person could talk themselves into being that, not a completely deluded psychopath, which I think he is. I would favor Masvidal minus 225. Okay. He probably should be. That's what I'd open it at. I think the market would bet Masvidal up bigger, but that's a winnable, like at least theoretically winnable fight if Conor has any juice at all. But that's a huge question.
Dakota, McGregor, Chandler, Jones, Pereira. It's so simple. Just make it happen.
Buddy, I agree, but I'm also fine with doing Conor and anybody. As long as it's not Conor and Ilya, which I think is pretty close to 0%, but I won't say it's 0%. Or Conor and Islam, which would be psychotic, but also not 0%. As long as it's not those two, I don't really care. It's fine.
Lord of the Pods. Arman had a title shot and blew it. I don't think Dana dislikes him for reasons other than that and the headbutt.
I agree with that. I don't think Dana cares about the headbutt whatsoever. Dana, I am 100% on board with Dana dislikes Arman because Arman pulled out the day before a fight, and there's almost nothing that Dana hates more than that.
Yeah. But I mean, at some point it has to be like, okay, you've done enough to get back in. He weighed in as a backup, made it successfully, took a fight in a main event spot, wrecked Dan Hooker exactly the way you needed to do it. What else does he need to do? I mean, there was a time where a guy by the name of Khabib Nurmagomedov pulled out of a title fight the day before an event against Tony Ferguson, one of the most hyped up fights the UFC could have made at the time. It was like one of the biggest fights you could actually put together. And Khabib, same thing. They didn't give Khabib another title shot. They threw him back in there. He beat the shit out of Edson Barboza and then got a title fight. And then, what else does Arman need to do, really? You know what I mean? Like,
he didn't need to do anything. He just has to wait. That's the thing. If you're the best guy in the world, which I think he is, even if you F up, like you have to wait it out and keep being the best guy in the world. And so
should he fight? Should he just fight anybody right now?
Yes, he needs to fight. He needs to fight in general just to prevent other people from getting past him. And he is not. I believe Ilia Topuria will fight this year. I don't believe he's going to fight in April, like he said. I think that's deeply not happening. But I believe Ilia Topuria will fight this year. And when he does, he will absolutely be fighting the winner of Gaethje and Pimblett. If Arman can fight for an interim belt, 100% do that. But I don't think that'll be on offer. And so then what's he going to do? Wait until next year to maybe fight Ilia? Again, Ilia's just not going to fight him. I will bet you so much money that Ilia Topuria will not fight Arman Tsarukyan. This was a gift to him. He is going to beat the winner of Gaethje and Pimblett, and then he is going to move to welterweight. And that will be the last time he fights because he's not a welterweight. And maybe God loves him the most and he sparks Islam. I do not think that is at all probable or likely. But if he does, he's certainly not fighting like do you think he's going to fight Morales? Morales is 6 feet taller than him. He ain't fighting another soul if he beats Islam. He is the luckiest man of all time, and he can ride away and be great. And when he loses, is he going to go back to lightweight and do the thing? No. You know how I know that? Because Conor didn't. Conor left, and he did, maybe he fought once or twice, but he is just doing Conor. He's doing Conor 2.0. And so he is going to defend the belt against a incredibly good matchup, the interim champion, and he ain't never fighting Arman. I will bet you so much money he is never fighting Arman Tsarukyan, even though he might beat him. Like, I'm not here to tell you he can't beat him. I'm here to tell you he is not interested in that risk-reward ratio. And so Arman just has to wait because he will either fight for the vacant belt at the end of the year, or maybe I'm wrong and he fights Ilia Topuria at the beginning of next year. But if you're waiting that long, You're the best fighter in the world. Sharpen your blades on somebody. Beat the hell out of a random dude. I don't care who.
Super chat from Chase. Did you see a book that has John Jones plus 300 versus Alex Pereira?
That's insane and shouldn't be real. I don't know if it is real, but that's crazy.
Plus 300? Really?
That's crazy.
If that's true, like I'm emptying the entire wallet on that.
Yeah, that would be very stupid for that to be a real thing.
John is going to win that fight if that fight does happen.
I think that it is the most likely outcome is John winning. I don't think Alex is 0%.
No, I don't think he's 0%, but
I mostly think John is super washed. But
John could just tackle him and beat him.
Alex is way more difficult to tackle than people think.
No, I agree with that, but it's John Jones.
Yeah,
who is very good at tackling people.
Yeah,
he's got Gable. He gets to tackle Gable Stevenson every day.
He looked so bad against Stipe that I believe Alex has a chance. Again, I'd favor John. I would not line that very wide.
I'll take a couple more, and then Jed, we will reveal the gimmick for the watch party before we get out of here. This is something that people have been asking about quite a bit since the Season 4 Fantasy Draft League special aired. How do Mike and Jed feel about their teams now? LOL, Mike had Kayla and Guy had Amanda. I feel great about my team. I think my team is primed to repeat. Yeah, it stinks losing Kayla, but it's potential keeper fodder at the end of the day. If maybe that fight happens at the White House. Who the hell knows? If it does, I still feel really good about it. But the rest of my team, I love the rest of my team. Like I really do. I may not get Kayla this round. I may not even get Gable Stevenson this round. But the rest of my team is all going to compete once, and that is far different than last season where I won and half my fighters did not fight at all, including Kayla Harrison. So this is no different than last season. So I feel real good about it. How are you feeling about your squad right now?
I don't think I'm going to win, but I went into this one with the primary goal of I just wanted to draft my people, and in every weight class, but really one of them, I did it. I don't care about Taliesin Teixeira. I just didn't. There weren't a lot of good heavyweight options out there. I think he is going to win. But I have the 3 best women to have, so that's dope. My women's divisions are going to carry me like they did last season, and I like all the rest of them are people that I want to believe in. Justin Gaethje, Shavkat Rakhmonov, Damian Pinas. These are just Dave Martinez. Like these are my people. And so I didn't get all of my people because, other people want guys like RDR, but I got a lot of my dudes, and I don't think I'm going to win. Guy won the fan vote on the piece in the column. For reference, Guy has Walter Walker, Yuri Prohashka, Fluffy Hernandez, Yaroslav Amosov, Paddy Pimblett, Jean Silva, Piotr Jan, Kyoji Horiguchi, Amanda Nunes, Alexa Grasso, Alexia Tainara, and Melky Costa. I don't think I wouldn't have voted for Guy. I think on paper, even with the Kayla Harrison one, yours is the best team. So you should feel good about that.
I do feel good about it.
I also think Jose has a sneaky good team that people haven't realized is actually sneaky good, but I think Jose's team is sneaky good.
Yeah, Guy's team is pretty solid. I'll tell you what, man. If Paddy Pimblett goes out there and just dusts up Justin Gaethje, he is off to an incredible start.
Yeah.
So, but will you get
a betting favorite to do so?
Will you get 2 fights out of Paddy this round? That's gonna be a big part of this equation. Mm-hmm. Super chat from Dakota. I want to see Jan Sugar 2 for 25 minutes. Their first fight was so good, and perhaps Sean O'Malley.
I don't agree in that context, but yes.
Perhaps Sean O'Malley, part of the Team Hex squad. I drafted him for that purpose. I think he's gonna hammer Song Yadong. I think he's gonna win pretty convincingly here. I don't know if he gets a finish, but I think he has a good performance, and I just think this matchup's really good for him. And I think they could throw him in a title fight with Piotr Jan if he wins. So probably in this cycle. So I like that pick.
I think this fight looks like not as bad a version as the Cheeto rematch did. Because Song Yadong will in fact throw back, and that will mean Sean isn't full target practice and it's only 15 minutes. But I do think this is just going to be a very professional win from Sean O'Malley, who I think has a lot of advantages in this fight. And I will be really, really, really surprised if he is not fighting Petr Yan next. This is not a meritocracy, and Merab Dvalishvili deserves his third crack. He and Petr Yan have unfinished business. The history of the UFC would tell you that fight is next. We ain't living in the olden days anymore. If Sean O'Malley beats Song Yadong and it's not a robbery and it's not controversial, I will be really surprised if he's not fighting Petr Yan next. Maybe at the White House, maybe the event before the White House. I think that's also very possible. Basically, that's the same thing they did with 300. O'Malley was 299. So I think it's very possible that the pre-UFC White House major event pay-per-view is Sean O'Malley versus Petr Yan. That's a good fight. Outside of whether it is deserved, it's a very good matchup.
Yes. All right. Time to reveal the gimmick, Jed.
Yay, gimmicks.
For the watch party. And why don't you explain to the folks before we put an exclamation point on this?
Are we going to do the gimmick now, or are we going to wait till the watch party?
I mean, we should probably just draft the teams, right?
We can do it now. That's totally fine. I just didn't know if we were going to do it now or not. Okay. So our new gimmick, I was going back, I watched the tape, boys. I don't know if you guys know this. That's why I'm so good at my job. I go back, I watch the tape. And what I realized watching some of our watch parties last year is that the best stuff, like the things that were the most fun, both to be part of and I think to watch, were when Mike and I were on opposite ends of the spectrum. So we had differing bets, the Benoit Saint-Denis over-under battle that we all recall, which won by a hair for me. Hell yeah. These are the things that were the most dramatic and frankly the most fun to be part of, because it is fun to have a rooting interest in general and to be there with Mike and maybe we're rooting for the same thing, but it's more fun for Mike to be rooting for one thing and me to be rooting for the other thing. And so we're going to be playing a game this year for all of our watch parties. It will be a running game throughout the year, a head-to-head between me and Michael Heck. And it's going to be very simple. We're going to, as Mike said at the top of this thing, we're going to start with the prelim card. So we got 8 fights that me and Mike will be together watching on our watch party this Saturday. And for each of those fights, Mike and I will choose a side. And because the point is to be head-to-head, we don't get to choose the same side. So we're going to do just a quick shot, old school draft. We got 8 fights. We'll do a snake draft, 1, 2, 2, 1, 2, just ping back and forth. And we're basically drafting sides of the 8 fights on offer. And so theoretically, if Mike wants to take, Justin Gaethje with his first pick, I, by definition, am now on Paddy Pimblett's side, and then I get to pick. We can draft in any order we like. It is purely which one do we feel the best about? Which fight are we the most confident in the side? And we haven't figured out what we're playing for, but we're going to do a running tally for the whole year, and we'll put something on offer here. I don't know what yet, but we got time to figure that out. So, Mike, do you have any questions about the concept for this game?
No, it should be a quick, easy draft, and then we'll do it again on the show next week for 3.
And we'll do it again. Should be an incredibly quick, easy draft. Team Meshew versus Team Heck, not just fantasy-wise, because we also obviously have our fantasies going, but for this new gimmick, which I haven't come up with a name yet. So that will also, I came up with this like 2 days ago and then didn't think about it afterwards. Like, this is a really great idea. And then immediately didn't put any more thought process into it.
So we're doing 9 fights, right?
8 fights, because the middle prelims is only Krylov. When does the middle prelim start?
Perez
What's
Johnson.
The first fight we're doing?
Perez Johnson.
Oh, we are doing Perez Johnson. Okay.
That's when the watch party is going to start, 7 p.m. Eastern.
Then we are doing 9 fights. My mistake. I apologize.
All right, who goes first?
I was just thinking about this. In a perfect world, we'd have a wheel. I can't.
The best thing in the world.
I can get a wheel right now. I can't put it on screen, but I'm gonna make a wheel happen. I'm gonna get rid of.
All right, I'll let you figure this out. And
I got it right here.
Ace Boogie says, Jed, took your advice, got floor seats for 324. Plan on being there from the first fight. Any tips or things to look out for?
One, have fun. I think that's the
Yes.
most important thing. I also floor seats is interesting. At some point, depends where you specifically are seated, but I would at least for one, maybe your favorite fighter of the card. By the time that things get going, figure out where they're where you are in relation to where they're walking in from, and then just try and go be by the walkout. I think that's always cool to just like physically see them like right next to you because you're next to the entrance tunnel or whatever. Have fun, man. It's a great experience. Like for whatever qualms or issues I have with the UFC, their live product is a very, very good one. I think it is a critical component to why they have been as successful as they have. So have a good time. Make sure you know where the bathroom is. And yeah, I mean, it'll fly by. It'll go way quicker than you think because live, like the pacing at home is very much different than the pacing when you're in the arena. But enjoy. It's a great time.
Yep. All right. Do you have the wheel ready?
I have the wheel ready. I am spinning to see who has the first pick. Snake draft is what we will do. So, and I have taken the first pick. You just have to trust me on that.
All right.
But, actually, you know what, Mike? Let's let you take the first pick because this is my gimmick, and I'm feeling generous. And honestly, it does not matter to me, realistically.
No, you spun. You go.
Okay.
Take Umar, and we'll move on with our lives.
Oh yeah, I have to take Umar. That is 100% true. So I will be taking Umar Nurmagomedov, which means you have Figgy Smalls on your team. I've clocked 1 point already.
And I get two picks, right?
Two selections.
I will take a Teba Gauthier.
Yeah, that's the thing because you take Umar, the other guy's getting a Teba, so it's fine.
And I will take. I'll take Sean O'Malley.
Yeah, as I was looking at it, this was exactly how I thought the first three would go. These are certainly the ones that I think I am the most confident in. For my wheel,
I know who you're taking first here.
I don't know if you do. I mean, I have to. I'm going to take Waldo Cortez Acosta.
I knew it. I'm happy with Derek Lewis, by the way. I'm more than okay with
I just
that.
feel the best about his chances there, frankly. So WCA is going to join my squad. And then I don't think they're wrong options here. I'm going to take Modestas Bukauskas. I really think he is going to be. I think Nikita Krylov is cooked. So I'm going to take Modestas Bukauskas and Waldo Cortez Acosta. And you are back with your last two selections, Mike.
I will take Natty Ice.
I love that because I wanted Rose.
And I'll take John Silva.
Now that one I don't love as much because I sort of anticipated he'd be gone, and I don't know what to make of this Arnold Allen fight at all. So
I think so you're going to take Charles Johnson, and then I'm super curious who you're taking in the main event.
I will definitely be taking Charles Johnson. So let's go ahead and get that up. Even though I actually do think Alex Perez is a very live dog, and he's not even a huge dog, which is kind of surprising. Do I go head or heart, Michael? Do I go head or heart? I have to go with my heart. I have to go with the man I've placed my belief in on fantasy. I might just be giving you a free point right now. I'm giving you the betting favorite. I'll take Justin Gaethje, and you can have Paddy Pimblett.
All right.
So
I'm okay with that.
I might look really stupid if Gaethje tackles him and taps him immediately, which I think is very much a possibility. But I'm getting the Umar point, so that's good. Actually, looking at it, because there's clearly three that I feel the best about, I actually think the wheel was better. It was better to not win that spin of the dice because I only got Umar, whereas you got a Teba and O'Malley, and everything else I can see happening. So,
why do we call her Natty Ice? I don't know. It's just a name I gave her after her debut against Jasudavicius.
It's great. It's a great name.
She had a big smile on her face, all weigh-ins, and I was like, oh, she looks like a fun person. And then the bell rang and she beat the living shit out of Jasudavicius, which is not easy to do. It really isn't. Only her and Manon Fiorot were really the only.
She didn't really beat the shit out of her either. Manon just got her.
Yeah, Manon just clobbered her, but Natty just dominated her for over 15 minutes, which is not very easy to do. And then from there, that post fight show, I believe I called her Natty Ice, and it just stuck ever since. Yeah. So there you have it. There's the draft. More on that this Saturday, 7 p.m. Eastern for the watch party. There will be a preview show coming up tomorrow. Jed Meshew and the great A.K. Lee will be hosting that. I'll be on Casey Leiden production duty. Perhaps I'll scream mixed martial arts a whole bunch. But I'll come in and bring up some questions and talk to you guys as well. But it's a pay-per-view week.
Instead of doing mixed martial arts, just do MMA
fighting.
No holds barred. No holds barred.
With that said, let's hit the music.
You got to go talk to people. You're a fancy, important person.
Yes, I have to go tell Rose Namajunas that I did not pick her in my draft.
I bet her
for the watch party.
I knew you would give me her. I honestly wasn't sure if you were just going to give me Gaethje, and you correctly realized that I would pick Gaethje, and you could just leave Paddy to the stick. I wanted you to pick Paddy so I'd feel better about it, but I've done what I've done. I've committed to the places.
This is chess, not checkers. More chess coming up tomorrow. The day before UFC 324 right here at MMAfighting.com. We'll see you next week on BTL.
Love y'all.